St. Louis. And all I'm asking the mayor and the Common Council president and the Common Council, show me.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio in Milwaukee, here is Dr. Ken Harris.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. I am back, and I am ready to go. 833-212-1017 is the number. I want to say thank you to, I don't even know who did my show, Denise Thomas, Jason Fields, Serena, Kyle. That's what I'm talking about. Y'all brought the A-team to do the A-team show. That's what I'm talking about. Also want to thank DZ. I missed you, man. I didn't have nobody to argue with, nobody to holler at me, nobody to scream at me in Spanish, and I didn't know what they was talking about. All that. Well, technically that's not true. But it's been interesting. It's been an interesting 11 days. Take some time off, get to chill. Went through some interesting things over those days. Had to deal with some interesting things over those days. Some interesting people. Made some interesting decisions as well. So it'll be interesting. I mean, I really had time off to really reflect why I do what I do. And so, well, I had broader thoughts of how and why I do what I do, who I do it with, what I say, what I think. I mean, I narrowed it down to politics, education, money, crime, and race. Had some interesting conversations with people who had different issues and opinions regarding race. To which I reminded them you should probably go into history and look at the things that happened historically with race, so that you can remember and understand and know that Black people didn't invent this thing we call race. So, but I digress. I related it to my life, and then I kind of extended it to the way I think about our broader Milwaukee community. And so everybody seems to have thoughts and notions about how all these topics, should go, what you should think. This is what you should think. I still say it. I listen to people explain why other people did things when they have zero information, zero data, zero nothing, but they decide that the reason why somebody did something is because of this, and then they act on it without ever knowing. But it seems like they only agree when others agree with what they think. Otherwise, people are dismissed. People are moved aside. And I guess whenever people go through doing anything new, that's why they run into resistance. Well, we never did it that way before, so we're not going to do it that way. I mean, I ran into that a lot with the police department. I run into it in every single organization I'm in. And I run into it in the Black community. It's unfortunate that we have not allowed a new way to think into our community for decades. I listened to Jason Fields earlier on The Truth with Sherwin Hughes talk to someone who had lost a race for the school board, I believe, in Madison, and how they just won't let people in to change anything. Want something new. And of course, they followed the same logic of when it's new, we call it progressive. And that's unfortunate because we seem to believe like the word gives some weird power or insight into a process or a decision that really doesn't do anything. And so I've had to take a step back over the last 11 days. And I started to look at the patterns that occur in our community. I took a step back and looked at the leadership, especially in our community, in the Democratic Party, that only caters to money and those they can control. The rhetoric about our community, the rhetoric about what ails us, the rhetoric and the solutions, I think, should only come from us. So if you want to leave us to our individuality, I say do that. This is shown when we say we want resources in our community as Black people, but then the only resources they send us is a juvenile detention center and a mental health center. So it must be said that the Black community did ask for those resources, but the problem is it's the wrong kind. So the detention center sends a message that crime is only done by Black kids, and the detention center is in a community, so quote, we can visit our kids. We don't have to go so far. So is that how the mental health community, the mental health center is going to go on the north side? Because what, we have more mental health problems than white people? Find me 5 people that have committed shootings the way white people do when they get a gun and start capping people like Las Vegas. Find somebody that's Black that did a shooting at a school and killed multiple kids. Just one. But we have to be careful what we ask for because we just may get it. And so as we venture down this road of voting, even for the next U.S. senator and whatever we're voting for, governor, as we start to worry about jobs and school and crime and the fall and all the elements that are in our community, I would ask that we consider changing what we think automatically. It's like a radio dial in your car. You only listen to the music and listen to the talk show because that's what you already listened to. But today, right now, what I would ask you to do is one thing. That is the one thing that could give you a new perspective on how to perceive the next 2 years as we go through this politics and education, money, crime, and race. I ask you to do just one simple thing. Reset your preset.
And that is Dr. Ken's Truth on the new 1017 The Truth.
If you love jazz and are looking for a fun event to soak up the last moment,